Coming up on Tech News today, Netflix fires a warning shot across the bow of ISPs. Google TV is getting some apps. Maybe, at least that's what Google I.O.'s schedule says. And Facebook gets hacked, but it's now more secure. We'll explain that and more coming up next.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Bandwidth for Tech News Today is provided by Cachefly at CACHEFLY.com.
This is Tech News Today for Wednesday, January 26, 2011. Tech News Today is brought to you by Ford, introducing the all-new 2012 Ford Focus Electric with voice-activated sync and My Ford Touch, featuring gas-free power, zero CO2 emissions, and battery management technology that lets you go the distance. Learn more at focuselectricpower.com. And by MailRoute.info. MailRoute is a secure hosted service that provides enterprise-grade virus and spam filtering to companies of any size. Try it right now, absolutely free at MailRoute.info. Welcome to Tech News Today. I'm Tom Merritt.
And I'm Jason Howell.
And we are once again going to bring you the essential tech stories you need to know every day of the week.
We'll try.
Well, we're not going to bring all the day's stories from every day of the week today. We're only going to bring you today's stories today. But you know what? Even if you're watching or listening to this show tomorrow morning, they're still pretty fresh. Like we just put one in split seconds before the show. So this is all you need to know. Joining us to make sense of all this, Joanna Stern, reviews editor from Engadget. Welcome, Joanna. It's great to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
We did a show together once, did we not?
Was it
was it
a Fox?
Were we on the Gadget podcast or something?
Oh yes.
I feel like we've done one episode of a podcast.
It was one
before.
of these podcast show things.
And I'm very excited to have you on. I think you're great. I can't wait to hear your insight on the stories. I was a little nervous though because of our other guest today is Terpster.
Yeah, he's already been violating everyone.
I'm slightly worried, really. It seems like your appearance with Tom meant quite a lot to Tom, but obviously nothing to you. Brilliant. It's great. You're like,
it meant a lot to
we
me.
did a show. Maybe I
have it in my diary. I need to go read it, but it's in my diary. I know it was met Tom on Wonderful Podcasts. He was really smart.
I will never forget
and I watched TWiT.
Hope he never has me on with an insulting Englishman. All right, let's get into the news.
Who's in his hotel room and looks a little creepy.
Yes, exactly.
Little what?
Sounds tad like Ricky Gervais.
He's been nothing but a gentleman throughout this show and the rehearsal.
Gentleman-ish.
Gentleman-like. Yeah.
Gentleman light, I like to think.
Facebook is beefing up its security. They're rolling out 2 new measures. These are mostly in response, I believe, to the sort of issues they had in Tunisia. They're expanding HTTPS so you can select or you can opt to have a secure connection to Facebook all the time. You will have to go and turn that on, but it means that you'll always be connected securely. It will slow down your viewing of Facebook a tiny bit, but it means nobody else will be able to snarf your password through Firesheep, which is important. They're also adding something called social captchas, which instead of giving you one of those distorted words, you'll actually see your friends' faces, and then it'll just ask you to pick which friend that is.
It is possibly the greatest invention ever, because I cannot wait to log on to Facebook and just see all of my drunk friends and just be like, I have no idea. Look at them. They're like, it's a blurry picture they've taken with their iPhone. They've had about 18 pints. It could be any one of them. And I'm just going to get locked out of my account. Yeah, it's terrible.
Or the pictures are your friends who put up their pictures of their kids, who you really don't know the difference between their kids and what they look like.
Or it's going to be all the
I
Mr.
don't.
Men.
Maybe you guys know the difference between your friends' kids, but
don't you get those little collages people do, and they tag up, oh, you're the smelly one. I'm not going to know that. I'm not going to be logging in and think, yeah, smelly one, that's Dave. That's going to be tricky to do.
Yeah, or the people who put cartoon characters up for their avatars, and then you get, you get a picture of Garfield, and you're like, wait, who is this? Who do I know
Well,
has
hopefully, I
Garfield
think
as their avatar?
the preview shows that you have a choice. There's about 3 different choices. Maybe you get to pick which friend you know or something like that.
Yeah,
I
but
In
haven't
all fairness,
encountered one of these yet.
it's tricky as well because I'm a little bit of a Facebook whore. If you friend me, I will accept, even if I've never met you. 95% of my friends on Facebook, I have no idea who they are. I don't really use it how you're meant to use it. So if they do introduce this feature and I choose to use it, I'm not ever logging into Facebook again because I don't know who you are. I'm sorry. It's just how it is.
Well, you've got it looks like they give you like 6 options for friends, so you got a 1 in 6 chance.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So that's good.
Yeah.
What if it was a picture of like your mum and she was making out with someone? I don't want to say that's my mum. I'm not going to admit to that. I mean, like, bloody hell, mum, what are you doing? You know,
Well,
I
hopefully
just
your
don't
mom
like
is
it.
making out with your dad.
Well, I'm not sure I want to see that either, really, in all fairness, especially not when I log on. But, you know.
It's a good thing they're adding security to this as well. For one thing, it's less controversial for Terpster, but also Facebook claims a bug led to the hacking of Mark Zuckerberg's Facebook page. Mr. Zuckerberg's account was compromised. A message was put up saying, "Why not transform Facebook into a social business the way Nobel Prize winner Muhammad Yunus described it?" And went on to, it seems to be in reaction to the Goldman Sachs investment, saying you should do social investing. You should get money from the people in the crowd. Don't go to the bankers for the money. So it was kind of an odd hack because it wasn't like, hey, guess what? I got Zuckerberg. I'm going to deface it and say something nasty. It was like, I got Zuckerberg's account and I'm going to say something slightly appropriate.
Shall I tell you how
it's
it
a little
happened?
odd.
Yeah, well, go ahead and tell me what happened.
Well, I can tell you why it happened as such, really, is basically the social network, as you know, did very well. It's been nominated for a few Oscars. And they're thinking, how can we capture that? What can we do for the social network too? And it's where basically I star as a genius computer hacker and I hack in to Zuckerberg's Facebook page and just post not kind of anything wrong, but just trying to make people think. It's more of a cerebral sort of, we're going for more of a kind of Academy Award-winning film than the first one may or may not be. So
What
that's
about
basically
Justin
what we did.
Timberlake? What does he do?
He's my backing singer. We also have a band. It's a weird sort of buddy, kind of road trip film. And it turns out that Timberlake's also Zuckerberg. It's very early in the script, but yeah, it's going to be good.
Yeah, sounds it.
Can you also explain why call buttons have been showing up on people's profiles next to the names of their friends?
That's
so they can call them on the phone.
Is that part of the script? Did you know about this already?
Yeah, that's why I was asking Terpster if it was in his movie.
It is something that I'm not sure I'm allowed to talk about yet. HTC have got a sponsorship deal with the film. They're funding it. It's going to be big, is all I can say.
See, I think Skype's involved somehow in this film and
really
Facebook
well,
partnership.
maybe
Yeah,
after
definitely.
they've floated. I don't know.
Facebook Connect has infiltrated Skype, so it's
Right.
likely that
I think it's going to sort of go backwards and bring it all full circle. But yeah, definitely odd. And I think there's been some leaked screenshots, not only of the interface, right? So you're pulling that up now. It says call, but I think there was like sort of a call pop-up that popped up when someone clicked this. I think that's leaking now too.
Yeah, it's somebody actually got it to work once. A lot of people were saying they were clicking on it, but it wouldn't do anything, and it's gone away.
Right.
It's sort of ephemeral. It doesn't stick around. But obviously, somebody is doing some kind of test live of some sort of call situation. It would make perfect sense to use Skype in cooperation with Facebook, and then all of a sudden you're calling your friends, unless you're in Egypt, in which case you're probably
good segue.
You're probably blocked. Egypt's government denies that they're blocking sites. We talked about Twitter yesterday. Now people are reporting both Twitter and Facebook being blocked in Egypt. Egypt's government says, no, we're not blocking anything. Twitter confirmed that its service has been blocked. They hadn't confirmed it when we recorded yesterday, but on Tuesday, around 1600 GMT, they said, yeah, we definitely are seeing that we're being blocked in Egypt. A Swedish mobile video site that I can't remember the name of it now. but it's one that allows you to shoot video and post it to the internet right away. They are also saying that they've been blocked. Facebook says that they have not implemented any technical measures to keep the site. They haven't said whether or not they've implemented any technical measures to keep the site running, but they do say that the service is up. They say they're not being blocked in Egypt. So the situation on the ground there politically obviously is very fluid, but it looks like some blocking may be going on. If you go to herdict.org, HERDICT, that's the Berkman Center site that tries to take these reports. Facebook does not look like it's blocked, although it has been reported inaccessible 24 times in Egypt. So there may be some on and off problems. But then Egypt only has 315 reports of inaccessible sites, making it ranked 25th in countries for being blocking things. So I don't know that Herdict is getting the reports it needs.
Yeah. So it's going to be a really interesting part of Mark's movie.
Yeah, well... Yeah, I don't know with that because I'm not sure if the budget's going to stretch to any kind of, foreign scenes in Egypt. So it's probably just going to be someone in a cafe going like, no, and then you'll see the pyramids in the background, and that'll be about it. Really,
green screen.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe on a camel.
I'm not sure if the
the real good twist would be if you could have someone on the Facebook phone on the camel in Egypt, trying to get on Facebook and Twitter with the phone on.
I think you might need to sign Joanna as a co-writer.
Well, that's what worries me because this money pot, which I call the movie, is already being split by several times. I'm not sure, but we'll see. I'll get my people to talk to your people, and then we'll make a movie. It'll be good.
Meanwhile, Google's Android platform manager Eric Chu was speaking to developers at Inside Social Apps Conference in San Francisco on Tuesday and threw down some interesting tidbits about Google's roadmap for Android in 2011. Chu says that Android will get in-app payments within the quarter. They're going to expand carrier billing with other carriers besides AT&T. They want to improve discovery of apps in the market. They obviously want to get more social. Everybody does. And they're betting on HTML5 as the new web standard. Joanna, this combined with Nilay Patel over at Engadget's post about the Google I/O agenda having 2 sessions on building apps for Google TV, one for building web apps, one for building Android. Seems like we're going to see a big Google TV update as well.
Yeah, well, hopefully. There was, I think Nilay's post talked a bit about sort of Google, we had heard about a month ago, basically was sort of putting the stops on some of these companies rolling out Google TV. There were some major tweaks that needed to be done when it was first released. One of those being apps, launching the app sort of platform, et cetera. So that's definitely good progress. I think it's also interesting to note sort of the app things that are coming out of this is that sort of they are also not happy with the number of people purchasing apps on Android, right? Lots of people are downloading them, but they're downloading the free apps rather than the paid. So I think the carrier billing is a big part of what needs to come. Actually right before Twig, the Google show before TNT, Gina was talking about she had created an app and she wanted to see if people actually did buy them. And I've actually had an Android phone for about 2 months now, and I've never bought an app. So I really think there needs to be improvement on that end.
Right, and the Gartner Group came out with a study today projecting a 117% increase in app downloads over the next year, 17.1 million apps to be downloaded in 2011, generating $15 billion in revenue. So even though most of those apps will probably be free, it's still a big, I want to talk about a money pot, tipster. It's still a big money pot for anybody who's making apps, and Google needs to get a slice of that.
Yeah. I mean, I would definitely be more inclined to buy apps if it was an easier process. I think, iOS users have a much easier process, whether that is because there's that integration with iTunes and all of that. But I think it's something definitely on the carrier billing side, which I think can be improved.
I would prefer a harder billing process because I find that all I do is spend money on iPhone apps. And it really, if they made it trickier to do, I might not do it. I might save some money, but they make it easy. And I just can't stop buying stuff. It's not good.
Well, no, it's actually a fair point.
Yeah, that's true.
Apple actually does make it really easy, which is why they're making most of the money, and that's what Google has to learn.
Yeah. Right, and we're hearing coming soon from Apple will be auto-updating apps, which can also be, like, have subscriptions in it that can actually just auto-generate. So you're going to be spending money not even knowing it.
Yeah.
Something that Google does not have.
The easiest way to spend money of all.
Yeah.
All right, let's make some money for the show here for a second. I want to thank our sponsor, Ford, for sponsoring Tech News Today. And they introduced earlier this month at CES the all-new 2012 Ford Focus Electric with voice-activated sync and My Ford Touch. 2012 Ford Focus Electric is an all-electric vehicle. There's no gas engine in there. It's a lithium-ion battery with high-voltage capacity. You recharge it by plugging it into a 120-volt outlet, or it can work with a 240-volt outlet. Has regenerative braking to charge on the go, and it offers miles per charge that's competitive with other electric vehicles. It's enough to get you around town between charges for work, for commutes, doing your shopping, all of that sort of thing. And it may even be cheaper depending on gas rates in your area and electrical rates in your area, especially if you charge it at night, when the electric rates are lower. The all-new 2012 Ford Focus Electric features Sync with My Ford Touch, which responds to voice commands and touch controls for not only entertainment, climate control, phone, and navigation, but also battery management. You can keep your eyes on the road and your hands on the wheel with Sync while you manage the battery, make your playlist, send your text messages, and then when you bring the vehicle to a rest, you can seamlessly switch over to use My Ford Touch to control things as well. Learn more by visiting FocusElectricPower.com. We thank Ford for their support of Tech News Today.
Is it sad I want it just for that kind of little kind of, I say petrol cap, but, you know, little charging cap?
Yeah.
On the video there, he just touched it, went, I was like, oh, yeah, I want one.
That's always the thing. That's always the thing with new models and new technologies. They always make other things in the car nifty as well, like mood lighting in the cabin and stuff like that. All right, Joe Baca from California, congressman in the United States, wants to be proactive about the dangers of video games. He says the video game owes a responsibility to parents, families, and consumers to inform them of potentially damaging content. So his proposal would be to make legislation putting a warning label on every video game rated teen or above, saying, warning, excessive exposure to violent video games and other violent media has been linked to aggressive behavior. Is this a good thing?
Has had bad parenting. Should parents get
Can you
stickers
repeat
now?
his name again?
Representative Joe Baca.
I don't know. Someone's got to do a better Chewbacca sound than me.
No, Joe Baca.
We set you up there so well. We set you up so well.
I know, but I didn't want to take it. It felt like too easy. It was too much of an easy thing. This, to me, it always irks me, really, when people go for the scapegoat. I mean, you know, it's like, you know, obviously, you know, the old rock and roll. Oh, rock and roll's the devil. It's going to corrupt the youth. And yeah, it did in a cool way. And that's what games are doing. You know, they're different. I really don't agree that by playing a violent video game, you become violent. You know, there's studies that link it and there's studies that completely refute it. It all depends on who's doing the study or who's funding it, really. I couldn't disagree with this guy more. If I went in the shop and saw those labels, I would actively start peeling them off because I'm that kind of sad person who's got far too much time on his hands. That's what I do to fight the man.
I mean, and they're putting it on all teen-rated games. He wants to put it on all teen-rated games. I mean, I don't know that much about teen-rated games, but not all of them can have violence. Like,
right.
I think The Sims is probably rated teen, or maybe Spore. I don't know.
Yeah, for adult situations or sexiness or, you know.
Right.
Just basically,
whoopee, we call it.
Yeah.
We call it whoopee.
So, I mean, yeah, Joanna, do you think that this will pass? Do you think this has a shot? I mean, because what he's doing is he's playing the card that, hey, there's been studies saying it's linked. I'm only saying it's linked. I'm not saying it causes it because nobody has found that it causes it. But if it's not proven to cause it, then we probably don't need a system any better than the system we already have, which tells the parents exactly what's in the game and gives them a way to find out more information about it before they buy it for their child.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sort of hoping it does pass so Terpster here can come to the U.S. and start ripping them all off.
Yeah, it'd be a day job. It'd be good.
Yeah.
What upsets me, though, is do you actually think it make any difference? This is a
congressman from California, correct?
That's right.
Oh, the Californians always get what they want there.
If that were only true.
No, I know.
But wouldn't make any difference.
That was a dig at you there.
Would parents say, oh, hang on, apparently this game that my kid's been on at me for 4 weeks to buy apparently has been linked to violence? I'd be like, yeah, but I just do whatever my child wants anyway, so here you go. It's not going to make any difference at all, except, I don't know, maybe a sticker manufacturer out there is going to double their revenue next year by getting the contract for the crappy stickers. It's pointless.
Yeah, I agree. Even if it passes, I don't think these things make such a difference, especially putting something more in your face is not, I don't think it's going to be that big of a deterrent.
President of the United States had his annual State of the Union address last night, and there were several technology platforms put out. The president talked about the effort to bring rural wireless to everyone. He made a big deal how Korea has greater broadband than the United States has, but said it's not about speed, except, Mr. President, I disagree. I think it is about speed. But he said what we want to do is we want to bring the internet to everyone in the country so that everyone can benefit from it. There was some talk afterwards about the efforts to take back the 500 megahertz spectrum, which is now in the hands of TV broadcasters but isn't always used. The FCC is pushing a program to buy it back. There were also pushes for research and development, spending more on research and development in the United States, spending on energy, and as well as the internet access. Joanna, did any of this ring true to you? Do you see this, catching on and being a big push? And what do you think the effects would be?
I thought it was actually really interesting how much he sort of focused on the internet and technology last night. I do think speed is important, depending, I don't really know the details of what he's hoping to roll out and which part of the spectrum, et cetera. But I hope this is sort of an initiative that it gets quickly pushed through. I think it's really important to bring, I think there was the example of bringing, what was the example? I think an ebook, the farmer should be able to download ebooks, something sort of akin to that. So I think it'll be, I'm trying to find the exact reference there, but it was pretty interesting. And I think it definitely, from the focus you put on that and also technology engineering research, I think there was a nice sort of call out for the technology industry last night.
Terpster, do they have similar plans in the UK? Are they trying to push rural?
Yeah, they're trying to roll out just broadband anyway, just make sure that the country is 100% broadbanded, so that in theory anyone has the access or the ability to access high-speed internet. I don't know, I was really impressed by Obama because I never knew he was that into tech. He's actually kind of surpassed what I would be able to do. He was there giving this address, and at the same time, on his Twitter account, was tweeting away about all these things that he was talking about. I was blown away. That is like serious multitasking. He's doing well. Did very well there.
I hate to break it to you, but I think he has an assistant do the posting.
No, because it's in a verified account, Tom.
Right. Okay. Yeah. No, you must be right.
You got president at us.com.
Yeah. I think us.com because we're a company.
Yep.
The United States Incorporated.
.org.
Like Kids Incorporated. All right, let's move on to the Sony Ericsson Xperia Play, which is no longer rumor because Richard Lai over at Engadget actually got his hands on it. And Joanna, I know it's winging its way towards you right now.
It is.
But what do we know so far?
So yeah, this was really, really exciting. I think, we've at Engadget have been following the PlayStation phone story now for I think it's almost 6 months from the rumor of, Sony Ericsson's working on this to then some leaked photos, then to some more leaked photos, then to screenshots leaked of the gaming portal. So yes, one of our very, very savvy writers, editors, got one of the prototypes. It really is in early form, so it's not totally reviewable on the stage, especially because the software is so important and it doesn't have the game portal that hopefully they'll be announcing at Mobile World Congress in a few weeks. But what's really, really interesting is it's not using the PlayStation phone moniker. It's called the Xperia Play. But, you know, it's really cool. I'm not a big mobile gamer. I'm actually not a big gamer at all. I'm okay to admit that. But, you know, the physical controls look really cool. And it looks a little bit chunky. You know, Richard mentioned that in the write-up. But it was pretty responsive. Software was responsive. But again, early software. But exciting. And we'll hopefully learn more about this at Mobile World Congress in a few weeks, especially sort of pricing and carrier partnerships.
How did Richard
good stuff from Sony? I think it's a good move.
How did he get a hold of it? Did Sony give it to him?
Bar. Drunk
Nope.
guy in a bar.
I can't divulge. Yeah, it was in a bar. It was actually in the hotel bar that he's staying at right now. Right there.
No, that's
It
the
had,
other block.
it had a big case that made it look like a Game Boy. And then you took off the case.
It actually looked like
God.
you know, the PlayStation Go or whatever their
PSP2.
other portable media.
Yeah.
But no, I can't divulge where he got it from, but it's definitely not from Sony. I don't think Sony's probably too happy with us today. But look, this has been the worst kept secret. I mean, I'm not going to say it's the worst mobile phone secret in history, I think. The iPhone was pretty, you know, it's a pretty bad kept secret. Obviously, we learned a lot about that pretty early, but this has been from the leaks of the screenshots to the leaks of just the hardware look and feel. Sony should hold a press conference tomorrow and announce the thing, but they probably want to wait till mid-February, and we'll all wait and sort of be like, oh, no kidding.
They are holding a press conference tomorrow, but we're expecting to hear the PSP2 announced, not the phone.
Exactly. There's a press conference tomorrow in Tokyo. They're supposed to announce the PSP. The new PSP supposed to also actually have 3G connectivity and all that stuff, but the major difference that we're hearing is that the phone is obviously a phone, so and runs on Android and stuff like that. So interesting sort of strategy. Also interesting that this is under the Sony Ericsson brand, the Xperia Play, which is a good move, I think, for Sony Ericsson. You know, they've sort of been way behind in the space. And especially they've been really lagging in shipping phones with updated Android stock. So we shall see if they can keep up the momentum. Yeah,
it's interesting because you can make calls over VoIP on a PSP. So it'll be interesting to see what the PSP2 can do in addition to that. And we've talked on this show before about, well, why would you make a phone and a PSP? Why not just make the PSP have a cell phone chip in it? And I think it's when you want something to be a phone first and then a game, you have games secondary, you want Sony Ericsson to do it. You want them to design a good phone. Whereas if you want a gaming machine that can also make calls, that's where you'd have the phone capability put into the PSP, because it's not really meant to make calls. It's not the right design.
Right. And I think it brings some oomph to the Ericsson brand, hopefully.
Yeah. So. All right, and then the story that broke right split seconds before we came in here is Netflix CEO Reed Hastings sending a letter to shareholders. This is in conjunction with their earnings. Earnings report was good. The company added 3 million subscribers in the last 3 months. A third of its new customers are choosing the streaming-only plan, so a third of the 20 million customers that they have. That's roughly around 6-7 million. And income for the quarter, which ended December 31st, rose 52%. Revenue grew 34% year over year. So Netflix doing well. But in his letter, I want to see what you guys think of this. He said, if the broadband guys insist on gouging us to get video to our customers, we're going to make a very public stink. And he announced that Netflix is going to put out a list which will detail which ISPs provide the best, most consistent, high-speed internet for streaming Netflix. Joanna, what do you make of this?
I love this because I know that Time Warner, who's my ISP, is going to be at the bottom of the list because I have the worst streaming and connectivity.
Well, they're also that's the biggest person in biggest company in a dispute with Netflix. So,
right, which they won't actually be lying when it is at the bottom. I think it's pretty great. I think, I don't know how much traction it will get and how much, I'm sure it will get PR in the tech industry, but I think it's something that people want to know, especially as, Netflix is really, they've been saying they want to move to strictly streaming. So I think people are definitely interested to see which services work and sort of like Netflix sort of staking it to them.
And Terpster, I think in the UK you don't have this problem, but for us, one of the issues is, great, Reed Hastings puts out this list and says, you know, your ISP is crap for Netflix. What do? We don't have a choice. We can't switch somewhere else.
No? Well, then that's a little bit silly, really. I mean, they could have done it all nice and friendly and been like, this ISP is Netflix certified. But they've gone the other route of being a little bit snarky and just saying, like, they're douches, they're horrible. You know, they're just, you know, it's got a little bit childish. I don't know, really, of the people who are that kind of interested in the service, if they're actually going to be that in the dark about this already. Most people who want Netflix streaming probably, you know, are already online, use the internet, and will know, you know, about these things already. And if it's something you can't change, then, well, that sucks, really. But over here, yeah, we have quite a bit of choice. Well, I say that. It's all from the same people, but you buy it through different companies.
Yeah,
so the service itself, but again, you get different deals, you get all of those sorts of things. So, yeah, you know, it's a shame, but obviously we're all communists, so...
Right,
I don't know.
Exactly. You're all red socialists.
I mean, it is a good point, though. Like, there are very few people who have choices of ISPs. And so it's sort of like, oh, well, thanks for telling me what I know, or thanks for telling me that I have to move. I guess it's hard to see what sort of service it will serve in the long run, but I still sort of like the snarkiness and threats. I was like a good tech war.
I think it's aimed specifically at Time Warner, because Time Warner has been saying really nasty stuff. So they're almost Netflix is almost taking the higher road if they're going to respond by saying, you know what, we're just going to respond with facts, and we'll see how you like that. All right, let's real quickly thank our sponsor, MailRoute. If you have spam, you don't have to have it. You can get rid of it, whether you're an individual or a small company or a big company, 50,000 people. It doesn't really matter. MailRoute can handle your email needs and strip out all the spam and viruses for you. It makes you more secure, makes it easier to manage your email. It's a simple MX record tweak, if you know what that is, or if you don't, whoever hosts your email for you will. And then your email goes through the MailRoute servers, has the spam removed, and it's sent right on back without any of the spam. And no false positives. It doesn't keep the good stuff. It sends along all the good stuff to you. It can resurrect a dead email address. I know this from experience. So check it out. It's $30 per user per year for individual users, or $2 per user per month for up to 10 people on a business license. But you can get to try it out for free and get 10% off the life of your account. So go to mailroute.info and try it out right now. Time for the News Fuse. Net neutrality is far from decided. To the two lawsuits against the FCC and the proposed legislation to outlaw net neutrality rules, you can now add the Internet Freedom, Broadband Promotion, and Consumer Protection Act of 2011, or IFBPCPA.
Slick.
Sponsored by Senators Maria Cantwell and Al Franken, my friends. The bill lays out some stark clarity on what is meant by net neutrality by outright banning ISPs from doing many things thought to violate neutrality.
Through some creative accounting, market analysis firm Canalys just made Apple the #3 computer manufacturer in the world, behind the #1 HP and the #2 Acer. The huge jump came when Canalys decided to accept new market realities. That's right, air quotes there. And include tablets in their PC numbers. Since Apple sold 82% of all tablets last year, it's no surprise that they leapfrogged onto the list.
I don't know if tablets belong in that list. I think they're a separate thing.
You reckon? I don't know. What do you do on your iPad? Do you do non-computery stuff?
Well, no, I do the same stuff I do on my phone.
Yeah? Well, then phone should be in there. Come on, let's get Nokia in there. It'd be good.
Apple's website on Wednesday temporarily listed details for new Verizon iPhone customers. It's gone now, but the plans that they showed started at $40 per month, unlimited data for $30 per month, and 2 gigabytes of data tethering for an additional $20. The tethering runs $20 per month, but only offers 2 gigabytes of data when using the new personal hotspot feature. It's on your unlimited data for the other tethering. Plan pretty much closely mirrors what AT&T offers, except for that unlimited data provision.
Yeah, I quite fancy that personal hotspot thing. I imagine it's a great way to make friends. You just go and, kick up your Wi-Fi. I'll be loving it. I'm not going to be able to pronounce any of these, but I'm going to give it a go. The ubiquitous Atocell is a femtocell. Do you want to read this one, Tom? Designed to let you make calls whilst out of the country without paying roaming rates. The femtocell, am I saying that right?
Yeah,
it just
saying
sounds
it right.
like a hygiene product. The femtocell plugs into your computer by USB and then figures out what country it's in and adapts its transmission power to be legal. You can then lock onto it with your cell phone and it will route your call through the internet, avoiding the roaming charge. Not great for touring about town, but could save bucks in a hotel room, which would be great for me if I wasn't staying actually in England.
In the same country that you're from. But if you were in France right now, I think that's
then I would definitely be in my hotel room. I'm not going out at night in France.
The Congregate gaming app that was kicked out of the Android marketplace is back with a few tweaks. Version 1.1 no longer dumps Flash games that you download to SD storage. Instead, the phone's browser cache is used just as for any other website you visit. This hopefully makes it seem less like a competing app store, which was the reason Google gave for giving it the boot in the first place.
Ahead of tomorrow's earnings call, Microsoft released a few numbers about Windows Phone 7. Microsoft's researchers says 93% of Windows Phone 7 customers are satisfied, and 90% would recommend the platform to others. They've seen an average of 100 new apps in the marketplace per day, and over 6,500 apps are available right now. And over 2 million licenses have been sold, though no word on how that translates into actual retail sales. On a side note, Tom, 90% of people out there would recommend me to others, and 93% of my friends are satisfied.
But that's your own research numbers, right?
That's my own research numbers, in fairness. I mean, to do the research, I just took the Windows research and changed the words to be about me.
Well, as long as you're clear about your methods.
Yeah.
The New York Times is considering options to create an in-house submission system that could make it easier for would-be leakers to provide large files to the paper. Executive editor Bill Keller told the Cutline blog that he couldn't go into details, especially since nothing is nailed down. Keller said the paper has been looking at something along the lines of Al Jazeera's transparency unit.
Boy Genius report says IM wants to add Java compatibility to the playbook for legacy BlackBerry apps. And that is, it's considering using the Dalvik virtual machine found in Android to get there. This has BGR breathlessly speculating that Android... I should have read these beforehand. Speculating that Android apps could run on the playbook. It would take more than Dalvik to do it, but Gleacher & Company analyst Mark McKechnie suggests back in December that RIM was planning to offer Android compatibility, so who knows?
So Android on BlackBerry, that's pretty much what you need to take away from that. Possible.
I like that little translation at the end there. For those of you who couldn't understand gibberish,
for those who don't speak Terpster.
Yeah.
Israel's Ben Gurion International Airport last week thwarted an elderly woman's attempt to enter the country packing 44 iPhone 4s. Now, they do sell the iPhone in Israel, but they don't sell it unlocked. She had 44 unlocked iPhones in her pants, apparently.
Just happy to see them.
I don't know why there have been no pictures of this with this story. No pictures.
How is there no pictures of this? She aroused suspicion by
I haven't seen any. We need pictures.
Pictures or it didn't happen. She aroused suspicion by walking with difficulty, and when approached by custom officials, claimed she wasn't feeling well. So they took her over to a scanner.
I would have liked it if she was rumbled, because during takeoff and landing, she spent about 20 minutes just groping her legs, trying to make sure that all her phones were off. Because, she's not going to want to ground a plane. So,
Right, because you got 44 phones hidden in her stockings.
Yeah, I still claim they were the white iPhones.
Well, that's the only way they would be hidden, right?
I really hope
black iPhones would stick out. You'd see them through the stockings.
Yeah. I'm claiming she has all the white iPhones in the world, right?
Those were all of them.
Do you honestly buy an unlocked iPhone if it came from some old woman's leggings? I'm not sure.
Yeah, but you wouldn't know that. You'd just be in the shop and then say, "Hey, buddy, we got a special white iPhone here."
Yeah. Oh, this is brilliant. What's this hair about?
It's never been sitting in someone's stockings or anything. It's perfectly normal. All right, let's move on to the calendar. T-Mobile has cut the price on the Samsung Galaxy Tab to $249. So
is that cheap enough for you to buy it yet?
Still not.
No one has.
Nah, the battery. I'm still skeptical of the battery life. I'm holding out for the Playbook. That's where my eyes are.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's an interesting move.
Playbook gave me a wink at CES. I kind of fell for it, so I'm
Nice.
looking at that. We'll see.
And
John
now with
Madden
the
said
Android
it.
apps he sold.
What's that? Android apps?
Now with the rumors of the Android apps working, you're sold on
that
it.
would nail it, definitely. Kindle singles are now available on Amazon. Singles are the little mini books that are very cheap. They're very short, like Octomom and the Politics of Babies for $1.99. How could you resist?
If you paid me $1.99, I still wouldn't. So, there would have to be better things on offer than that.
I think the
O2,
name is really interesting.
Octomom and the Politics of Babies, or Kindle
Sounds like
singles?
a sci-fi film, doesn't it?
Amazon singles, Kindle
Yeah.
singles.
Yeah,
I
because
feel like it should be
I
like
honestly
a-
thought it was a dating thing. I thought, thank God
Yeah,
I
a
paid for the
dating
3G
thing or
one.
like low carb book. Like they have these like low carb.
like craft
I don't know.
singles.
Yes, that's it.
I like it.
They have the. Do they have the singles? It's like a candy bar. I think that's what I'm thinking.
Oh,
I
the
don't know.
The
It's a weird name.
fun size.
No, that's the opposite. Fun size or oh wait, no, fun size are small. Yeah.
The fun
You can
size
eat them
is
on the
small
go.
one. Yeah.
Kindle fun size books. O2 is launching free Wi-Fi service from today. So in the UK, you can just get free Wi-Fi wherever you go, Terpster.
Well, obviously not wherever I go. And I'm an O2 customer, and apparently I get free Wi-Fi with them already because of my phone contract. And I honestly have never found somewhere where I can use it. I always have to go and use like a BT FON network or something like that. And obviously, BT are going with the Finera thing. So they've got the whole, if you have broadband at home and you share that and create your own hotspot, then you can use any other one for free. I think this is O2 trying to compete with that. But I don't know. Until I actually experience it, I've got no idea as to how good it's going to be. If
It's free. Stop your
available
whining.
but slow, then what's the point?
Android 3.0 Honeycomb SDK preview has gone live. So if you're a developer, you can one-up Motorola and actually have a working Honeycomb on your devices. Sony, as we mentioned earlier, expected to announce the PSP2 at a Tokyo meeting tomorrow. That'll happen 1 a.m. Eastern time in the U.S. or 10 p.m. today, Pacific time. That's for you, Terpster. It'll be 7 a.m.
Brilliant. I'll wake up early
Well,
for
no,
it.
it'll be 6 a.m. in London, 7 a.m. in Berlin.
Oh, not doing
We'll be
6
live
a.m.
blogging it
Oh,
in
no way.
jackets, so-
Are you doing the live blog for it?
We are. We have 2 people out there, so
Excellent.
we will be bringing the best live coverage
I will.
on the
I
internet.
will have my eyes on it at 10 p.m. tonight. Skype says they are going to delay their IPO until the second half of this year, and AT&T has just announced that current iPhone customers who switched to a capped plan can go back to an unlimited plan now. They are going to, because Verizon's going to do an unlimited plan, AT&T is now going to do it too. On to the voicemails, 260-TNT show, and Sherwin called in with some thoughts about near-field communication on the iPad.
Hi, this is Sherwin calling from Mountain View, California about yesterday's show and the supposed near-field communication chips in the iPhones and iPads. Clayton mentioned how cumbersome it would be to whip out your iPad to process a payment, but what if the iPad was used to receive a payment? Say if you are a waitress at a swank downtown bar and a person just waves their iPhone next to your iPad and the bill gets paid that way. Thanks for the show. Love it. Have a good day.
What do you think, Terpster? Swank downtown bar, iPhone
I know.
payments?
I catch your eye. I say, come over here. Get your pad out. Oh, there we go. Thank you.
Don't say that.
Be like, dead eyes.
Joanna, is this is this going to be something we'll see in Manhattan bars?
I think it's a little awkward, to be honest. But who knows? I mean, people are always sitting out in coffee shops with their iPads out. So,
It'd be pretty
you're
good
right.
if they bought you a drink using the iPad as a tray. And so they come on over with the iPad. There's your coffee, sir. There you go. And there you go. Thank you. And then you just wave your, oh, brilliant. Thank you. Brilliant. Thank you. Goodbye. It'd make it quite a seamless process. They'd have to probably, waterproof it. But past that,
Yeah.
it's a winner.
Finally, this email to TNT@twit.tv comes from Jason, who says, this is a weird story I saw while following Kevin Murphy on Twitter. The story basically says that Rifftrax wants to put its DVDs and shorts on Netflix, but Netflix won't put them on the streaming service because they're not popular enough. Makes me wonder how streaming titles like Transmorphers are more popular than the crew from the old MST3K show. I'm a big fan of Mystery Science Theater and Kevin Murphy and the Rifftrax guys. They're hilarious. They're good stuff. So we did an informal survey, and I found out that Jason, are you an MST3K fan?
Yes, though I've never seen Rifftrax.
I mean, you've never seen Rifftrax.
No.
Joanna, are you an MST3K fan?
No.
Oh, and Rifftrax?
I mean, in rehearsal, I looked up Rifftrax, and now I'm a huge fan.
Right.
But before that, no, I had no idea what it was.
Terpster?
I don't enjoy comedies, so
I can see that. So there you go.
I'm happy the new Facebook movie won't be a comedy then.
Half of the people surveyed
very serious.
Didn't know Rifftrax or had heard of it, and 75% of people surveyed, or 50% didn't know Mystery Science Theater. 75% didn't know Rifftrax.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the problem. That's why Netflix doesn't want to allow them on. But if you go to a link we'll have in the show notes at twit.tv/TNT, they will send you to a place where it describes that what you need to do is start putting Rifftrax DVDs in your queue in Netflix to make them more popular, and then that will allow them to make the case to Netflix that they're popular enough to be allowed into streaming.
Mm-hmm.
But you'd think they'd want to put anything they can get their hands on.
Yeah. I just think, fill it. It's not like you're going to be limited for space, surely.
Come on.
Like, we've only got a terabyte left. Come on. No.
It's actually interesting now that I think about it, because the Guild is on there. When you think of like the broad reach, like MS, it seems like the same type of audience. So if the Guild could get up there, why wouldn't Rifftrax?
One would think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Release your day.
All right, Terpster, thank you so much for being on the show again, my friend. It's great having you back. Let folks know where they can find you on the internet.
You can find me over at hypotheticalhelp.com, where we're winding up our 3rd season of helping people like you with problems like the ones you probably have.
Really?
He delivers on everything he says.
Yep.
They try to help people.
Yeah.
Do you provide psychological help for me?
Depends.
Those are my problems.
Well, if you phone in a question, if you phrase that in the form of a question, then we will answer/mock that question in around about 10 minutes or so. So it's worth
I will send one.
Good.
I can't wait to see that. Joanna, it was great having you on the show. Nice to be doing another podcast with you. Let folks know all about the stuff you do at Engadget.
Yes, you guys know where to find me, Engadget.com. We will be live blogging tonight. I will not be. I will be here in New York, but my colleagues are in Tokyo. And I've got some good reviews coming up soon, tablet-based reviews, so stay tuned for those.
Thanks, everybody, for watching. You can find us on the web at twit.tv/TNT. You can email us. TNT@twit.tv is the email address. Or give us a call, 260-TNT-SHOW. We'll see you tomorrow.